International Youth Day for me is really about making sure that youth voices are sort of amplified and really sort of celebrating, but also, what's the word, like highlighting or emphasizing, the things that we are already doing, and sort of giving opportunity and giving space for the spaces that we should be in. Because I know that, a lot of young people are sort of starting up, and I think the world of social media has really given us a great platform. Young people are really being left out of sort of the decision-making table, and I think it's really important that we have days like these to remind us of, what young people have to bring to the table. So experience is great and understanding is great, but I think young people have fresh perspectives, and that's really what we need to sort of take us forward in this new era of, technology, of this and that. And I think who better to sort of advise on that than people who've been living in it their entire lives. So yeah, I think youth solutions are so important, and it's days like these that remind us of that. So I think there was a number of things that sort of really pushed us to start it, but I think we were really frustrated with how underrepresented African youth were. And I think we just really wanted to be able to write our own stories and, be the one to sort of drive our own narratives. And in that sense, it kind of just started out as a blog. People writing in, sharing their stories via poetry and photos. And it was really, really incredible. But I think then we started to look at, what was missing. And I think we needed to start having honest conversations about identity, about self-worth, about confidence, about African identity and what that means, in this new era. And as we started to have these conversations, we were noticing that leadership is also it's missing in this space. And I think young people are not being exposed enough to practical tools for leadership. I think we are being taught that leadership is something that, you work on when you're a CEO, when you're a president, when you're this and when you're that. But I think leadership is something that we all, take part in. There are different things that we're responsible for as a mother, as a sibling, as, a peer. So I think it's really, really important. And I think we started to move into the space of actually let's start equipping young people with the practical tools that they need for leadership. So, it's amazing to have these gifts and these talents, but if you don't know how to cultivate them towards solutions for the community, then that's the problem. So I think that's really what we do. We run different workshops and seminars, and we bring in a lot of really cool mentors as well. Because I think it's not that we're saying we can do it all on our own, but I think it should be our space, and then bringing in, advisors, people who know, people who have experience, people who understand, that we can learn from, and then sort of taking it from there. So yeah, that's kind of what we do, making sure that youth is empowered through leadership training and mentorship. It's kind of been like a roller coaster, if I can say that. I think it's not necessarily something that I walked into this expecting at all. So that's been super crazy. But I think it's also just really opened me up to the world of social impact and social entrepreneurship. I think there's really not a lot of social work in general in normal spaces. I didn't know about any of this until I actually was already in it. So I think that's something that I really can say I want to make sure that more people know about, because I think we all know about charities, but we don't actually know about the ways in which that you can build an enterprise, you can build a business, but it can be essentially for the greater good of the community. So that's been really incredible. And I think just going into, global platforms, it's really an honor. And that, there are a lot of people reaching out to me saying that, you're inspiring me and this and that. But I'm honestly carrying the flag of so many others. all the women who've come before me, all the women in my life who, who've empowered me, my mother, my mentors. Minnie's one of my mentors. So do you know what I mean? Like, all of those people, I'm when I walk into a space, I'm representing them. I'm representing young people. So I think it is really, it uplifts me to know that it's bigger than me. And it's not about, the things that I'm insecure about. It's not about all these little things that, you can use to tear yourself down. If it's not just about me, then I'm not too shy to, step into the space and say, I'm owning it. Geez, I have so many things to say to, other young women out there. I think being bold is your superpower, and being yourself, my goodness. Own every single space that you're in, because you, the most authentic version of yourself, is exactly who the world needs. There's no one who can be you. There's no one who can bring your voice to the table. So it's just so important that you make sure to remember that and to bring that with you on whatever platform that you're on. So, yeah, I think that would be my advice.